Okay, get the tools we need. I'm wired for sound now, so I'm hoping the sound is better in this video. Should be. I've tested it, works a little bit better. I want to do an unboxing for you today. Whoop. I am wired, so I have to be careful. I have the new Axial in here today. This is the brand new Wraith. They just released this from Axial. I'm gonna pull out the packing list here. If anybody's wondering, the price on this rig as of right now is $399.99. So $400 for this Wraith. This is that which I think is the same price as the regular Wraith. So we need to cut this thing open here and take a look at it. See what the differences are of the standard Wraith as well. So it's gonna be a little awkward. That wire keeps getting in my way. I tried that wireless system and I think I have an idea to make that work a little better. I know on the last video it didn't work at all. So I'm trying a wired microphone now. I'm hoping that's gonna work a little bit better for us. Ooh, I like the looks of that box. I will say that looks pretty cool. It doesn't want to come out though. Come on. There we go. All right. Let's throw that out of the way. Take a look at that. That is the new Wraith. Pretty cool. This is the new Poison Spyder. This is based on the real, I guess Rock Racer is what this is. From Poison Spyder Customs. This is their Jeep Wrangler, officially licensed. Let's cut this thing open and take a look at this Wraith. I love breaking the factory seal. Just gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling on a new kit. All right, this box is pretty nice. Let's take a look at that. So it's even licensed by the driver and co-driver. Some new features I'm seeing on this Wraith. So I know it has new tires and wheels and officially licensed Jeep body, but I want to see if there's any other differences because I don't think so. I think this is going to be basically a Wraith with new body set, tires, and wheels. Got everything out of the box. Yeah, look at that. Take a look at that. That's neat looking. Pretty cool. Radio system, standard 2.4 AX3, typical Axial 2.4 system. Controls and dials back here. Pretty much, if you're familiar with Axial's ready-to-run products, that's going to be nothing new for you. Basic additional parts in this bag, some interior pieces with the shifting levers, different steering wheels if you want to put them on it. You've also got some additional driveline parts, some extra parts just left over from building. Looks like there's a bunch of the plastic ball ends and things like that are replacement in here. You've got some rod ends as well. Some steering rod ends, it looks like. If you were going to upgrade the steering set. Typical race stuff, you've got a little tool in there as well. Where did I see that? Yeah, the multi-wrench. So, you know what's in it? I'm not seeing no pair of gates in this kit. Interesting. Usually, you know, Axial's got the 2 green gates. I'm not seeing that. It's not a huge deal. I probably have 40 of them, but I know some people collect them. I don't have 40 of them from buying that many cars. I've actually bought some for running comps. They're great. So you can buy them separate. You can get them in packs of 10, I think. You can get packs of green, packs of mixed packs, green and orange. and then packs of orange, I believe, so FYI. All right, let's cut this thing out. I kind of like the wireless, because I'm hooked up, I don't have very far I can move. I like the wireless for that, so I'm gonna work on that. I might have to order a couple of extra pieces to get that sound to work better. But this is a little bit better mic for this video, so we will run with that. All right, there's our new Wraith. This is the Jeep Poison Spyder, very, very cool. And again, it's body panels. I'm noticing some slight changes maybe from the traditional ready-to-run kit on this vehicle. So what we ought to do is cut here and let's zoom in on this thing. Take a close look at it. All right, welcome back here. We've got the Wraith up close, out of the box. Let's talk about what we see first. Obviously, we're very Wraith-like. Those of you who are familiar with the Wraith will pretty much recognize this thing immediately, but I really like this body. The color scheme looks cool. I really like it. We've got all kinds of graphic decals on it. Some of this is painted. The dark blue sections here look to be painted, that design in there, the Poison Spyder design here. Get that plug out of the way, it looks kind of corny. That's painted. The decals, however, all the emblems and stuff, those are all decals. So, you know, you can peel those off if you wanted more of a plain looking rig. I know some people like to do that. The roof panel and the hood, that is actually painted. So that's painted in the design. So that's pretty cool. Well, I guess if you're not a fan of that, you know, maybe you'd want to buy the regular Wraith or wait for this body set to come out. I'm sure they're going to be releasing this body set for it very soon. Also, you know, obviously if you wanted a Jeep, you could, if you already got a Wraith, you could pick up the Pro Line body set. But I really like the looks of this thing. Notice in the Ready to Run, the interior compartment, the plastic or the Lexan setup in here, get that tag out of the way. Do not remove or it voids your warranty. I'm kidding. This is, I don't know if you can see it, whoop, bumped you. It is gray like the traditional Wraith, but it has the black seats. I know that was a kind of a complaint for a lot of the Wraith owners. I'm gonna try and fix the angle of the camera. I know that was kind of a complaint for a lot of the original Ready to Run, that it had gray seats. Some of you didn't like that. The kit came with black and they've gone with black in this. One thing I'm definitely seeing is that you do not have the separated hood panel that you do on the other Ready to Run. It's gonna make accessing underneath here, how everybody likes to put the hinge up here on the hood and put hood pins through. You could probably, if you could carefully cut that hood out, you could probably do that. I don't know that I would probably do that with this rig, just because it would screw up those lines. That's a great looking body. Notice on here, decals, you've got the Larry McRae and Shad Kennedy. Driver and co-driver, those are just a little decal, so you could pull them off if you didn't like that. But that's cool, you know, they've signed the box and whatever. So, pretty neat. Typical 4-link suspension underneath. Traditional Wraith here. Plastic links, solid straight lowers, bent uppers to make room for the drive line when it's flexing, obviously. Same transmission in this vehicle, same axles. I mean, it's basically Wraith. So the new parts are the body, tires, and wheels. Notice too, this one does not have the light set. Reason for that, there's no lights in this Wraith from the factory. They've left those off. You could add those. To keep the same price, I'm thinking with the new tires and wheels, they've had to ditch the lights. you know, that's a fair trade-off. I get that. I can see that. So what we need to do is talk about the tires and wheels before we take the body set off. That's a major improvement on this Wraith. Well, yeah, I mean, it's an improvement. They're different, you know. Obviously, you've got a BF Goodrich officially licensed crawler TA tire, which is awesome. This is a traditional Axial compound, R35, I believe. So they have a good compound on it right from the factory. The wheels are also a beadlock design. It's a new beadlock that Axial's put out. I was reading some of the information on this beadlock, and it's pretty interesting the way they've got that set up. It locks, you know, we'll take a tire off and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Definitely not as many screws holding this body set on as the original Wraith. So something to think about. Easier to take off. It's only got 3 per side, but you can see how, you know, you might have some issues tearing this body if you really get aggressive with this thing. I don't know, I'm just speaking hypothetically because I haven't driven it yet. I'm just thinking possible tire rub in places, you know, you might scrape it up against a rock, that sort of thing. Okay, underneath, you know, typical, like I said, black seats, very cool. Standard axial speed controller, drag brake. This has the, I'm thinking the 20 turn motor in it. From what I can see, it is the 20 turn, yep. So traditional Wraith, I'm sure it's got the same gearing. These things are geared pretty high. The Wraiths come with a 80-tooth spur gear and like a 20-tooth pinion. They market these as a rock racer, so they're not really designed from the factory to have a lot of weight in them for really grunt crawling. If you're gonna get into that, you need to gear that thing way down because you can burn that motor out. We're more of a rock crawler here, so this will probably get some modification in that regard, just to keep that motor alive. Decent motor, decent wheel speed. The typical axial servo, AS3. Again, weaknesses on the AS3. It's got okay torque, but they wear out in like 10 minutes. They wear out so fast because of the bushings in those. So they've got plastic bushings. Simple bearing upgrade will make that last a whole lot longer. And then, you know, the traditional plastic steering links, and namely the plastic servo horn. Probably a good thing to upgrade that for the future. So traditional axles on this guy, you know, everybody's familiar with the Wraith axle. I think they call it the AR60 or something like that. It's an offset pumpkin design, shifted to one side. So on both sides, you've got your pumpkins on the left, on the driver's side, which front and rear, obviously. Same shocks, 4-link suspension. I mean, it's a Wraith underneath. It's a Wraith. I like it. You know, battery mounted in the back here. Let's pull this top off. Those of you who may not have seen a Wraith before. Long coilover shocks, oil filled. You know, they're plastic bodies. They have titanium coated shafts, what's interesting enough. But the bodies are plastic threaded and plastic bodies, but they're threaded. So I have to pronounce that correctly. Don't want to confuse anybody. There we go, there's underneath. So battery back here, snake the wire up through the little point in the center console here, connect it to your radio system here, and your receiver is sealed up in the box, water resistant. Not, I mean, the servo's not, but you know, from the factory, you're going to need to do some waterproofing, additional waterproofing on this vehicle. The on and off switch is mounted right up here next to the steering wheel. You can see it hanging out right there. On off. So decent electronics, Wraith, typical Wraith, new tires and wheels. Let us pull one of these apart. We need to see inside of this thing and see what the hubbub is about on these wheels. I'm seeing new wheel nuts here. Blue anodized to match the body. They look very cool, actually. And they're also serrated to hold the wheel on. Let's get the wheel off. There we go. Blue anodized wheel nuts, serrated on the backside to really, plus they're nylock. So that's really definitely not going to be coming loose when you're on the trail. And they're blue anodized to match that body. Very cool. Okay, look at the backside of the wheels here. Your bead comes apart with these screws up in the center. Notice that. You've got it's not really a hex on this vehicle. It's got a center mount that goes over the pin. Notice that. And then you've got the 6 lugs there in the center that bolt that on. So my thoughts are, you may have different offsets available to you. And in fact, there may be something in the package that would allow you to change the widths of the wheel. There are. Let's open this up and take a look. So, you know, traditionally the Wraith, and this one in this case, has a very, I get the offsets confused, but basically I call it a low offset wheel because it's more flush. It doesn't stick out very far. The wheel mount, you know, it is not sticking out farther. It's tucked right up inside the wheel hub. And you can see by the depth of that center mount there that it's designed to bring the wheel in on the hub for traditional Wraith width. Where your typical AX10, like the old school stuff, something you'd put with the old axles that's now found under the SCX10, you would want a higher offset. And again, I might be getting that backwards. I keep screwing those up, so I apologize if I am. But your wheel, you'd want it sticking out a little farther to give you a little bit more width because those axles aren't nearly as wide as these. And in this case, you have that option. Look at the size of that hub or wheel mount. That is going to push that wheel out quite a bit further than what is installed in that wheel. So that way you could use this wheel in, you know, an SCX10, maybe a Honcho or something like that if you wanted to. Put something that big on there. It's definitely a possibility. And they give you the four parts of that. So that's pretty cool. It's good to have. So it's adjustable width. We like that. It's a good thing. Let's take this apart. This is supposed to have, where's my driver here? There are 6 screws, yeah, on the back side here that's going to hold this. I think this is a 4-piece wheel because this is supposed to have some kind of a adjustable venting system in this wheel where you have the ability to change how many vent holes there are in this wheel to give you more or less, squish in the tire, I guess. Damping, I wouldn't call it that. Makes the tire more dead is what it does. Now this is supposed to come apart here. Okay, so that's the inner ring. And then we've got, this pops out. Okay. That's the centerpiece. Now we've got 2 pieces in here or just 1? Okay, so there's our tire. BF Goodrich. You know, very cool. Licensed officially on the sides there. This is BF Goodrich. Crawler TA KX. I like that. It's very, very scale. Really good looking tread design. Obviously very scale to the original or 1/1 size tire. Very cool tire. I'm thinking, you know, maybe this isn't going to be the best tire for our needs because these blocks, there's decent breakup through this tire, but these blocks are pretty big and there's not a lot of additional grabbing edges on this tire. So, you know, maybe we'll do some testing on them to see, but you know, I'm thinking maybe some siping. Get your Dremel tool out with a thin disc, a cutting disc, and sipe these lugs, put some cuts in these. That might really make that tire grip well, especially on the rocks. Okay, so how this works, this wheel is a 3-piece design. Look inside the wheel. Do you see those little tabs sticking out? Okay, that's going to line up with one of the grooves on this back ring. The position that you mount this ring is going to allow either 1, 2, or all 3 per side to be opened. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of an ingenious. So you've got an adjustable venting system for your foam that allows you to rotate this ring to where you've got, you know, multiple venting options. I don't know which one I would say is best. I think factory, it came out as I saw probably 2 were covered, or I'm sorry, 2 were open. So you've got some adjustability there. Now you've got a nice channel here. These are plastic bead locks, obviously. You got a nice channel here that you can put your weight in. This is going to hold the stick-on weights nicely. Remember to split the weight group so that you still have these holes uncovered, because that's your venting system through the wheel. You could also, I mean, if you wanted to, you could punch holes in the tire. I probably wouldn't do that with this bead lock setup, but that's pretty cool. You know, I'm telling you this right now, it is good to see a bead lock wheel back on a ready to run Axial. It is about time, and I think everybody would agree with me on that. But you know, you get what I'm saying? You can see that plastic ring kind of sticks out a little bit farther than I would personally like. I mean, definitely I could get used to it. It's not a huge deal. I just kind of noticed they stuck out quite a bit because they're so thick, you know. But it feels like it's going to hold that bead, well, fairly well. That's maybe, I don't know, maybe they're not tight enough though, but that's coming right out. So that's not necessarily a good sign, but like I said, they may not have been tight enough from the factory. We shall have to see. We'll do some testing on that because that's not always a good indicator. But it did peel out kind of easy, to be honest. Those are cool, but let's try another one. That's concerning. I don't know, it bears testing, let's say that. All right, let's see. See what I'm saying here? I mean, I'm not putting a ton of pressure, peeling it back a little bit, and it's just popping right out. So, it just I'm going to reserve judgment on that. We'll try it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I am going to weigh these, and we're going to have to try that. That's kind of concerning, but we'll give it a test. We'll give it a fair test and see. I'm going to put weight in it, and we'll try it. I kind of wonder if we're not going to be popping beads while we're out there on the trail, you know, and that becomes annoying. But we'll see. So there's our Wraith up close. All tore apart now. I tell you what, let me. I'm going to pull the other tire off. I'll put the body back on, and we'll do our wrap-up thoughts. Okay, get the sound plug back in there. It's kind of weird being wired. There's an up-close look at this new Wraith. I love the tire. I mean, it's great. I think it's awesome. They've really engineered. They've gone to a new bead lock system that's got custom offsets, so you can use it on your old AX10s, SCX10s if you want a 2.2 wheel and tire. It's probably going to fit most of the aftermarket tires, Pro lines and so forth. These tires look like they are about that traditional, let's get a tape measure here, 5.5 inch tire. So 5.5 inches, not quite, you're about 5.25 on these. So they're a little bit smaller probably than the rip saws that the other Wraith comes with, or like the TSLs and stuff from Pro line. I like this rig, I really do. As a Wraith goes, I like the Wraith. The Wraith is awesome. This one is just that much better. It just is. The different tires and wheels, the Jeep body just made this one way cool. My only concern with this vehicle is, as I said, these just peel right apart. And I've had a lot of bead locks, and we've had a lot of issues with certain tires and certain wheels that, you know, they came apart too easy like that. I mean, you can just peel that right out. And I don't think that's gonna hold up on the trail very well. I think we're gonna be popping a lot of beads with these wheels, unfortunately. I'm sad to say, but I think that's gonna be the case. We'll have to see. When I put others together, I mean, you can do that to the tire and you're pretty much gonna tear the bead off of the tire. They're so good. The old bead locks, Axial's old system, and the old, what do they call them, the Rocksters and stuff, the 8-hole and those, for an inexpensive bead lock. The other one is that was in the XR10. The XR10 has a bead lock that's the correct offset to run on a Wraith, and they have metal rings, they hold really, really well. And so this one's, I think it's gonna be a little disappointing, incidentally, because I didn't have to tear that apart to get the wheel off. I can tell you that, remember the venting system I was talking about? They have 2 holes vented. So one of them is blocked. They've got it set for 2 on these wheels. So, you know, you can tear it apart and adjust that and put it back together. And hopefully the beads stay. I think that if you're running this vehicle as a rock racer and you're not putting a lot of weight in the wheels and you're not going to be doing a lot of hardcore crawling, you're probably going to be okay with that bead, I hope. If you're getting real serious with some aggressive rock crawling and get this thing bound up and that kind of thing, they're probably not going to stay in. I'm thinking that's not going to hold. So you may look at maybe getting a new set. I don't know. Try it and see, but be prepared because that came out pretty easy. Okay, so there's the Wraith. $399. They're both $399. Very cool blue Jeep Poison Spyder. I like this rig. I like the standard Wraith too, but this one just really, I dig this one. That one is pretty cool for ready to run. And I'm sure, like I said, this body set's gonna be out here pretty soon. So you can look for that in your local hobby shop. They will have a clear, unpainted one that will allow you to paint, you know, any color you want, probably have all the decals on it and that kind of thing ready to apply. So you can customize it any way you want. And what I'm gonna do is, you know, I think that we really need to have kind of a project vehicle out of this thing. So I've got some stuff on its way that I want to show you that I think would be worthy of putting into a Wraith. Some products that are out there in the aftermarket, and we're going to use this kind of as a long-term test mule. We're going to do some tire testing, some wheel tests, and so that's it. That's all I got for this video. Hope you enjoyed this thing. I think it's definitely worth buying. Just keep an eye on your wheel, and crap, I can't wait to get started. So until next time, you guys take care, keep a shiny side up.